I lived my whole life in Florida and moved here last year. I was starting my private practice. I have an office location in Matthews and also in Uptown Charlotte area. And I posted on the Nextdoor app that I was a dietitian, worked with several patients in Florida, and would like to start working with patients in the North Carolina area. So I had someone inquire and say that, and again, Beth had mentioned that I'm board certified in oncology, so my background is mainly working with cancer patients. So had someone inquire and said that she had CRPS, and and asked me if I had ever worked with a patient who had CRPS. And I candidly responded and I said, no, but wait, let me do a little bit of research, okay? And so when I responded back to her, I said, all right, I've done a little research, and what I worked with her on, here's what I found out, okay? Live healthy, real quick on that. Nutrition can be very overwhelming to people. You Google one thing on the internet and you get a million different answers. So what I say is take one thing, just one thing that you learned from my presentation, incorporate it into your habits, and then it'll become a lifestyle, okay? Make one healthy choice a day, and then it just becomes part of a lifestyle. This is my website if you'd ever like to check it out. I made it myself, so hopefully you like it. Perfect. Okay. Treatment modalities. Like Amberly was saying, there's a bunch of different alternative methods you can take. There's also modalities that you can take, and one of them is pain medication. Often associated with pain medication is constipation. As we know, may have experienced in life one or more times, constipation is no fun. I do not want someone going 3 or more days without having a bowel movement. Why? Because you put yourself at risk to become impacted. That's not fun. So, when dealing with constipation, often associated with taking pain medications, and you're at that 3-day mark, I usually tell people to go to the grocery store and pick up a product called Smooth Move Tea. They've done really great in their marketing name, right? So Smooth Move Tea is very helpful. The other thing is probiotics. Has anybody heard the term probiotics? It's been a buzzword, gosh, I would say probably the past 5 or 6 years. Funny, I work at the hospital, CMC Maine, 1 day a week, and I went and saw a gastroenterologist out of Columbia. I'm thinking, oh, this guy's any good. He was phenomenal. But one thing he was talking about was gut health and probiotics. And I thought, man, they're just catching on to this? Like, this has been a well-known thing. But he was really promoting it and kind of laughing at it in a sense that they haven't really caught up to this yet. Because I'll talk to doctors in the hospital all the time, and what do you think about probiotics? And they just look at me and they're like, those don't work. And I was like, oh yes, but they do, they do. So probiotics, you go to the grocery store, you go to a health food store, Whole Foods, you name it, wherever you're going, you go to the vitamin aisle, and you just stand there like, wow, there's a whole lot in front of me. There's brands, there's colors, there's dosages, there's something for everything, right? It's very overwhelming, even for me as a dietitian. So when you're looking for a probiotic, which I'll explain the purpose of it in a second, you want to look for a dosage between 5 to 10 billion bacteria count. 5 to 10 billion bacteria count. What probiotics do is they help to build up the good bacteria in your digestive tract and bring down the bad bacteria in your digestive tract. We have both. That bad bacteria messes with you going to the bathroom. Also, that bad bacteria craves sweets. Sugar, sugar, sugar. It loves it, right? And one thing that really resonates with my husband, so I always try and tell it to people, your body craves what you feed it, almost down to the time of day that you feed it. I was pregnant with my son, and I had a craving every single day for a chocolate chip cookie. And I would test myself, ooh, when is that craving coming on? And I'd look at my watch, and it was always 7 p.m., not 7:01, not 6:58. It was always around that 7 p.m. mark. Your body craves what you feed it. It's very smart, and it's even almost to the time of day. So probiotics help to build up that good bacteria, keeps your bowels regular, okay? Also, studies show healthy gut, healthy mind. When your gut is healthy, it actually sends to your brain to reduce levels of anxiety and depression. Now, who doesn't want that, right? So healthy gut, healthy mind, studies show, reducing the risk of anxiety and depression. Also, it helps with any stomach bloating or discomfort, okay? Probiotics, I promote to everyone, get on them. Dosage, 5 to 10 billion bacteria count is ideal. I don't want you starting on a 100 billion bacteria count because you're going to be having diarrhea for days and you're going to be really mad at me, okay? So, fluids are also very, very important when you are having issues going to the bathroom associated with pain medication, okay? I remember working with my client, and she told me that hydration was one thing that she had changed, and she was mad at me because she was going to the bathroom a lot. I said, I know. But what it does is it helps to lubricate your GI tract. It helps to get things going, if you will, right? Fluids are very, very important. On average, each person is different, but on average, women, I want you to focus on 6 to 8 cups of a decaffeinated beverage every day. Now, when I say decaffeinated, what do you guys think of? Okay, so maybe a decaf coffee, right? Water, someone said. Sure. Tea, yep, there's decaffeinated teas, absolutely. So it's the caffeine that I want you to limit, because caffeine actually dehydrates you. And when you are dehydrated, that one of the main things that happens is muscle cramping and pain, okay? So fluids are very important. 6 to 8 cups of decaf beverages for women, about 8 to 10 for men. Now this is on average, okay? Olive oil. You guys will remember this one day. You will appreciate this. If you have issues with constipation, adult, teenager, children, even babies that can eat food, appropriate. Olive oil, 1 to 2 tablespoons at night, whether you're dipping a little bit of bread into it, putting it on your salad, putting it on some rotisserie chicken, whatever the case may be, that will help lubricate your GI tract as well and will help you go to the bathroom a little bit easier. You're welcome. Olive oil. Fruits and vegetables with skin on it. The skin, an apple, for example. You eat the skin on an apple. That contains fiber. As we know, fiber helps to keep us regular. So all this goes back to constipation. Movement as well, okay? Which we'll talk about in a little bit. But movement, I don't even care if you just stand up and walk around your house. Whatever type of movement, that helps to loosen things up, if you will, too. Love starting to talk off with constipation, right? Corticosteroids, often known as steroids, help to reduce inflammation, but steroids are often associated with hunger. Not just a regular, oh, I'm really hungry, more of a ravished hunger. Like if you don't get out of my way, I might chomp your arm. I'm really, really hungry. And it's all the time, okay? Has anybody ever experienced that? Maybe? Okay. Ah, good. At least have one person too. Okay. So it's a common side effect of steroid use. So excessive hunger. With excessive hunger, fluids are going to be really important with that. Also, making sure you're getting something in your system every 2 to 3 hours, because just like a car needs gas to move, so does your body, right? So fueling your body every 2 to 3 hours is going to help with that excessive hunger craving as well as fluids. Protein and healthy fats. Protein. When you think of the word protein, what's a food that comes to your mind? Chicken, meat, eggs, right? Tofu for my vegetarian friends. Protein and healthy fats like an avocado, those help to keep you fuller longer. So making sure you have a protein or a healthy fat or both with every meal or small meal every 2 to 3 hours is going to sustain that hunger. For example, right before I came here, I had some naan bread, I had a veggie burger, just a patty, and I had some avocado. So I had my protein from the veggie burger, I had some healthy fat with my avocado, and my naan bread, which, have you guys heard of naan bread before? Commonly found in Indian cuisines. Fun fact about naan bread, it's a little bit higher in protein. So that helped to keep me fuller longer, okay? And fluids, again, like we talked about, making sure you're constantly hydrating. Inflammation in the immune system. All right, I'm going to say this, but I'm going to need you guys to hang with me for a second. So inflammation, oftentimes is thought of as very bad, okay? However, chronic, long-term inflammation is not ideal. Acute, short-term inflammation is actually really good because it's your body's immune system fighting back, okay? Make sense? So, acute inflammation, a short period of time, is your body fighting back. Long-term inflammation isn't ideal. Now, here's how I explain inflammation. Say I had a cut on my skin, and it was red, it was disgusting, it was a bad cut. What do? We put ointment on it to heal it, right? Otherwise, it just gets infected. You have to end up in the hospital, so on and so forth. You know the story. So we put an ointment on it for healing. That's what food does in our digestive tract. When we eat, we're either causing that pussy red inflammation, or we're causing healing within our body, okay? So don't always think of inflammation to be a bad thing. Strong immune system. How do we get a strong immune system? With the fall-winter season coming up, where oftentimes people get very sick, right? The immune system is so important. When you think of boosting your immune system, what word do you think of? It's right there. Antioxidants, right? That's the #1 way to boost your immune system. Antioxidants, think of brightly pigmented fruits and vegetables, and I have it listed right here. Berries, carrots, squash variety. Now that we're in the fall season, a lot of squashes are in season right now, which is great. A lot of great recipes out there, as well as broccoli. So antioxidants help to boost your immune system to keep it strong, okay? Exercise. Now, whether I'm talking to, sorry, I guess I don't even need this. Whether I'm talking to it did work? Oh no, it shouldn't be that. Sorry, could you back it? Thanks. Thank you. So whether I'm talking to one of my cancer patients, whether I'm talking to someone trying to lose weight, needing to gain weight, whoever I talk to, it doesn't matter, CRPS, any type of client, I always encourage exercise. Here's my definition of exercise. Do something that you enjoy doing in your time and in your duration. For example, one exercise I always recommend is you're sitting watching your favorite TV show. Mine is This Is Us. It premiered this week. I was so excited about it. And every commercial break, I do this, and my husband to this day makes fun of me, but I lift my arms in the middle of that commercial break, or I move my legs in that middle of the commercial break, okay? Just movement helps. So do what you can with rest in between. So then when the show starts back, I rest, okay? Hydration, we talked about it, decaffeinated beverages. Listen, I'm all about a good cup of coffee. Please don't let me fool you, okay? I actually had a little sip right before here. But with that being said, what happens is when you wake up in the morning and you start with a caffeinated beverage, you boost, but then you drop. You boost, and then you drop. So on and so forth. You guys get the picture. In your highs and in your lows, that's when you don't feel good, okay? So on top of having CRPS, now your energy levels are all over the place. So how do we get it more streamline long-term energy? Through decaffeinated beverages. Water is going to give you long-term energy. 1 to 2 cups of coffee a day, absolutely fine. I want coffee with a splash of cream and sugar, not sugar with a splash of coffee, right? But water will give you that long-term energy, okay? Passion flower tea, if anybody's heard of it, it's amazing. It helps with anxiety. It's just an herbal tea that you can drink, okay? I know Whole Foods sells it for sure. Water with frozen fruit. Often people say, I really don't like water. Well, I say, why don't you get some water and frozen fruit, easily open the bag and dump it in, okay? Another option is if people like some carbonated water, you could try those, as well as adding frozen fruit to those are really good as well, okay? And sleep. Issues with sleep are common. So having a strong immune system, exercise, hydration, all of that really helps with a good night's sleep. Chamomile tea or sleepy time tea are easily bought over the counter. The trick with those teas is you need to get it in every single night. Don't just take it once and expect the best night's sleep on the planet. Okay? A while back, I was at a conference, and I was that person who could have a coffee an hour before bed and just be fine. I was always like that. Until I heard a sleep therapist who said that that's not true. He said that when you have caffeine an hour or so prior to going to bed, what happens is you mess up your sleep cycle, not a sleep therapist, but you're not able to get into your deep REM sleep as if you were not to have that caffeine prior to bed. So I say limit caffeines 3 to 4 hours prior to bed, okay? Next. Write it down. We were talking about journaling a lot in these past 2 lectures. Don't let food be an exception. How do you feel after you eat? Do you feel good? Do you feel bloated? Do you feel sluggish? Do you feel tired? Do you have a jolt of energy and then an hour later you're in a slump? Do you feel really full and then an hour later you're ravished? How do you feel? Start being mindful of your food intake, what you're eating, how you feel afterwards. Write it down. See if the food causes a flare-up in the near future or causes inflammation. Those are foods often causing, triggering inflammation and pain, the cut on your skin. Sugar, caffeine, high sodium, okay? And I'm not saying don't ever eat that type of food, but just be mindful of it, okay? It's something that you can do and can control. Ask yourself, how am I feeling? Do I need to immediately go to the bathroom? Do I have issues going to the bathroom? Am I tired? All this has to do with your blood sugar levels. Just like I said with hydration, we've got our highs and lows throughout the day. It's the same thing with blood sugar, whether you have diabetes or not, okay? We all have to make sure our blood sugar is streamlined throughout the day, or else in our highs and in our lows, we won't feel good, okay? And how we do that is by making sure we eat every 2 to 3 hours and always pairing a protein or healthy fat with what we're eating, all right? And then even writing a list down. Hey, these are foods that I really feel good after I eat them. They were easy to prepare and I feel really good. Or these are foods that I'm not really sure how I feel after I eat them. Or, wow, I feel awful after I eat these foods. Just being mindful of you and what you're eating. Start with snacks. Nutrition can be very overwhelming, like I said. People always ask me when they first meet me, can I have a meal plan? So the other day I had a client, she wanted a meal plan. She was adamant about it. Well, she's paying me, so I tried to stray her away from that, but she was adamant about it. So I gave her a meal plan. She's a mom, working mom with 2 kids, and her eyes were just bugs. Because often people get this meal plan, they look at it, they're very overwhelmed by it, and then they throw it away because it's just too overwhelming. So keep it simple. That is my ultimate message of today. Start with snacks. Well, I never eat fruits and vegetables. I just don't. It's not a part of my lifestyle. I like them, but I just don't think of those first, right? So this afternoon, when you're home, grab some celery and put peanut butter on it with raisins, ants on a log. Have some apple with string cheese. Just start with snacks. Then you're going to start broadening your horizon. Pinterest, great recipes on there. If you go to my website, I have a Pinterest link. You can follow me on Pinterest, and I pin some recipes on there. And a lot of times, when you are in pain, you are having a flare-up, you can't go in the kitchen and cook. I mean, you just physically can't. So start with snacks. Keep it simple. Go ahead. Sorry. All right, now, do you guys have a copy of this? It looks like there's some on the table. How am I doing with time? Okay. All right. I'm going to briefly go through this, all right? And this is the last thing I'll cover. Andrew Weil, Dr. Andrew Weil, he was laughed at in the medical community for a long time. Now, where do you think everybody's turning to? Dr. Andrew Weil. He created the Tower of Power. Brilliant doctor. And he is more about integrative medicine. When you look on the internet, be careful what you're looking at, okay? Dr. Google isn't always right. He is a sound resource for you to look at, Dr. Andrew Weil. Tower of Power, so I would say late 90s, early 2000s, don't quote me on that. There was the food pyramid, right? Remember the food pyramid? He took the food pyramid and revised it. made it more anti-inflammatory. So, as we know, based on the food pyramid we've seen for a long time, the bottom is where you get the most, or where you should eat the most from, right? So, fruits and vegetables are at the bottom. I like to always point this out because I've been asked about this several times. It says minimize consumption of tropical fruits like bananas, pineapples, load up on berries, cherries, apples, and pears. The reason for that is because fruits like oranges, pineapple, bananas, what they'll do is they'll spike up your blood sugar faster than something like berries, cherries, things of that nature. The smaller the fruit is, like a blueberry, in comparison to an orange, the faster it'll spike your blood sugar. The larger the fruit is, it'll spike your blood sugar faster. Did I make sense on that? So smaller it is, the slower to rise your blood sugar. And remember, in your blood sugar highs and lows, you just don't feel good. Okay, so fruits and vegetables. Of course, I'm going to promote organic. And budget doesn't always allow for organic. So when you're grocery shopping, I want your thin-skinned fruits and vegetables to be organic. Okay, thin-skinned fruits and vegetables. The pesticides easily penetrate through the thin skin. Thick skin, like a cantaloupe, you don't necessarily need to buy organic. Would I love you to? Of course, but if budget doesn't allow it, fine. Whole grains, focusing on whole grains, whether you're following a gluten-free diet or not. If you are following gluten-free, then you want to avoid wheat, rye, and barley, okay? But otherwise, focusing on whole grain. When you were looking at the ingredient label, make sure it has the word whole in it, okay? If it doesn't, then it's not all of the grain. Fish. I want you eating fish at least twice a week. I wouldn't go over twice a week because of the mercury content found in fish, okay? And we want wild over farm-raised. Farm-raised, they're in these vats eating each other's feces. It's not good. Wild, they're in their own fish environment doing their fishy thing. They're great, okay? Spices, amazing. If you take anything from this today, I want you guys to really focus on adding spices to your food. It's a cost-effective way to enhance the flavor of your food, as well as it has so many anti-inflammatory properties to it. Again, chronic inflammation, not ideal. So one spice I like to highlight is turmeric, or turmeric, however you like to pronounce it. Turmeric is often found in Indian cuisines, but it more is for the savory type foods, roasted vegetables, chicken, things of that nature. But when you are adding turmeric to your food, I also want you to add black pepper to your food. Why? Because it enhances the absorption rate by 1,000%. That's a lot. Okay? Also, I love black pepper. It's just good. Cinnamon is excellent. Ginger is excellent. I mean, I could go on in the spice realm. Dairy, whether you're lactose intolerant or not, that's going to vary. But dairy in small amounts can be anti-inflammatory. In large quantities can actually cause inflammation, okay? So having a string cheese as a snack or a small glass of milk, so on and so forth, fine, okay? And then my favorite, dark chocolate. Dark chocolate, it's got my soul. Excellent, excellent health benefits to dark chocolate, and it even finds a place on Dr. Andrew Weil's Tower of Power. One more thing right below that dark chocolate, you'll see olive oil. Olive oil is an excellent anti-inflammatory, as well as avocado oil is another excellent one. I wanted to let you guys know I'm thankful for the opportunity to speak in front of you, and I hope that you were able to at least take one thing from this lecture today and incorporate it into your lifestyle.